Good evening. It's just gone 5 PM Eastern Time. It's the 27th of September 2023, or it's around 10 PM here in the UK, and I'm just going to recap my trading for today. On my screen is the MES S&P futures, and we're looking at the 5-minute time frame. In fact, we're going to start on the hourly time frame to see where we are. Today another strange day in the market, so we're putting in this, we're still running between this channel, hit the top of the channel, the bottom of the channel, top of the channel, the pre-market came right down to the bottom of the channel again, and look at that, within the last hour it's back up to the top of that channel. So we're definitely playing this channel at the moment. This middle channel as well has been influential because we bounced between there, came out, we touched the bottom touched, and then the tops of these candles came in, and then probably not much here, but we did pull back to the channel there. But it also happens to be around some levels. So we've had these levels in place. We've just talked about them for the last few days. So in particularly, we've been watching, today I was watching 43.05, which was the low of yesterday, and that was going to be a bounce area for me today. Also, we've got a few other hourly levels, and we've also got this main area in this demand zone, 42.83, 42.80 area, with a daily level at 42.77. So let's just go onto the daily quickly to see what it looks like. So we can see we're in a daily downtrend, and we've got this candle here, which is interesting, higher than average volume. It's also a bottom tail candle, and it's rejected the 200 moving average on the daily. So it's I would say that's a pretty bullish candle. I know we're in a bearish downtrend, but potentially tomorrow we could be looking for a bit of a pullback. We talked about the pullback today in the pre-market video. Let's put the fibs back in. So now we've got potentially a bottom. Let's do that again. Zoom in a bit so we can see what we're doing. So we're going to put in two tops. We've got that pivot there, and we're going to do the next pivot as well. And potentially we've got the 618 happens to be around the daily area, which is interesting. Over we've got the bottom of here. So tomorrow, if we are going to see a bit of a break, if we break this candle, we could potentially see a pullback to the 618 area. We've got the 50% also around this area, which is coming up about 44.40, and the 618 of 4400. So 4400 looks like it's going to be an instrumental area, potentially looking for a pullback to that area. If we're going to continue on the downtrend, then that's what we could be watching for. So let's take a look at the hourly. No, I'm in the 5-minute. So my trades today wasn't particularly great trading. I took 4 losing trades in a row, and it was this trade here. And when I say losing, it shouldn't have been a losing trade. My target was this channel or the VWAP. I think I took a little bit out there, and the rest of it stopped out. My next trade was here on the edge of this demand zone, and I was targeting the VWAP and the 50 moving average, and it came back down and stopped me out. I did try another bounce for this double bottom, and again I think I got out of that break even. I tried this area as well, and my target was this channel, and again I still didn't quite get there, and I came out and stopped out again. I was getting a bit frustrating by this point. Could I have done anything better? Yes, 100%. Probably should be using these areas, this point of control. This should have been a first target, take some profit, possibly using that breakdown for that should be my out, so I would have been in profit. The frustrating thing was on all these trades I was up, but I held too long. I think I got greedy, and I was up on that trade, held too long, stopped out. I was up on this trade, and the reason I took this pivot, let's just put that pivot in so you can see it, and that was based on, if I remember rightly, let's do the 6 hours so you can see a bit clearer. It was based on this area here. We had high concentrated volume, as you can see here, with the point of control going right through that level as well. And I was using that as a bit of natural resistance, and probably shouldn't have done. I probably should have just focused on my levels from before. So that's a level I kind of made up, which I shouldn't have done. Let's go back to the 5 again. Let's get rid of that level. It might be valid tomorrow, but it's gone for now. But this is the level I was been waiting for, and we talked about this. It's an area, and this area is a daily bounce area. It's the bottom of this channel, and so by the time I got in, I came in here. I think I was looking for this zone. Got in as we touched that area, and then I loaded up on this bottom tail. Because it came into the daily, I got in there, I got in there, I got in there, and I was in when it came back, pulled back here, and I got in, so I added in there. So I was in pretty heavy at this point. I had 1, 2, 3, 4 losses on this one, with a little bit of profit, but I was down. I was outside of my comfort zone for my loss. You know, I shouldn't have been that far down. I should have just, if that one didn't work, I should have waited for this area here, but I didn't need to take these extra 2. So not very good trading. However, this last area I was long. I think I took profit as we got up to this area, so this I was determined to take profit, which is on the downtrend in 50 as well. Then I took a little bit of profit on the VWAP, and I chopped around a little bit here. I think I added at that point and got out up here, and I was almost back to break even. In fact, I would have been better than break even if I just took that area, which is the top from earlier. Well, not quite the top, but I still held the last bit, and I stopped out as we broke down through here. And I did go short for a little tiny bit. I took a little tiny bit of that down, but I was still down for the day. But I did take a long when we came back into that zone again. So again, the levels I've identified, been identified for a long time, still playing. So I went long there, which I should have done because it's the level I'm watching, and because we've already bounced off of this level, then it doesn't have as much power the second time round. But it's also off of this bottom trend. Look at this, that middle trend line on that hourly, it kind of touched it twice. So that was my convincer. So I got in there, and I think I got out just after the market closed at 4 PM, which was there. And so overall, good trade. The end of the day was great because I rode it all the way up to the top, rode a little bit down, and then I rode it back up to the top again. And I'm actually positive for the day. I shouldn't have been. I should be negative, because you know all these stop outs shouldn't have made one trade. You know, if I was trading properly, I probably should have been out there. But I suppose the curse of my holding muscle here, holding too long, holding too long, holding too long. So that's the curse of me having a good hold muscle. But this is the benefit of having a good hold muscle when you have a big run up like that. So all this was a negative trade, and this was my positive trade. And so it balanced itself out eventually. But it's hard work. That was a hard day. Could I have seen this trade in the pre-market and went short? Yeah, definitely. So we had these lows here. It was a bit messy, to be honest. We had that low as well. That's a low I was watching for as well. And maybe I should have identified the fact we were breaking the pre-market and pulling back to retest. So if you see, let's just clear that, make it a bit clearer. So we've got the pre-market lows there, and maybe an area of confluence along here as well, which is exactly where we are now, exactly where we closed. And I should have been watching the break and the retest of the pre-market low. And I say it in every video, it's frustrating. Every time I talk about this, I miss the break and retest high, or I miss the break and retest low of the pre-market. But pretty much every day the pre-market comes into play, so I need to pay more attention to it. But look at this mess just after the open today. I didn't take a trade. I was tempted to. I was thinking about going long there. I think I took a quick scalp there, moved up, and I got back out at break even because I didn't like it, because I thought it was going to close above the VWAP. But it just went sideways for about 40 minutes, and then it finally decided to pick a direction, and I missed the obvious trade, the break and retest of the VWAP and the lows of the pre-market. Got to get better on that, because my bias was still long, because I think I said in my video, if you looked at the daily, we were so far away from the 50, the 20, the 8, and we were, at the time, we were here on the 200 moving average. We were due a bit of a bounce, and we're into this demand zone. All that put a bias in my mind, and my bias was to go long, and I think that's why I went long all day, which is crazy. I always seem to want to do the opposite to what the market trend is doing. So we're downtrend. Until we're out of the downtrend, I should have just focused on finding a short, because we're going to stay in this downtrend until the trend is actually broken. We have to break out here, and until we do break out, then there's not I don't know why I keep fighting the trend. It's frustrating, but you know, I could have probably just made one short trade today and just held it all day. Had I just taken this area here short, I could have taken profit on all, even if I took profit on the pullbacks, and then there was no sign it was going to reverse. Maybe here, potential it made a new higher high and higher low, and then it came back down. There's no sign it's going to reverse there, because that was lower. This low here was lower. That area there was potentially higher, but it was on reducing volume, so potentially that's a bit of a weakness. Here we were putting in a lower low, and we had increasing volume when we were doing it, showing a bit of strength in the selling. And then reason I was keeping an eye on this area here, you can see the volume kind of slowed down, and then we had this big volume bar up. In fact, here was when the volume started picking up, so potentially we could have seen some slowing down or selling at that point, but there was no major signs we were slowing down. We had a couple of bottom tails, but this is the real telltale sign. Telltale, no pun intended. This is the real bottom telltale sign. I like that. I might use that more often. Big bottom tail, and pushed up, came back down, made a new higher low, and then we pushed up. So that was a great trade, but I should have probably been waiting for this trade all day, rather than trying to force the trades and all these pushes here. Or, you know, the idea is to make it easy, not keep going against the trend. So anyway, that was it really. I did do a trade in oil as well. Wasn't in it very long. Let's go back into the 5 minute on oil, and it was about here. No, it was there. It's coming down. I took the break. I saw this double top, and I thought I took the 5 minute breakdown, but it came back in. I think I stopped myself out of there, so a small loss. And then I just stayed away from oil because it was just doing, as you can see. In fact, it's putting in this flag pattern, so potentially we might see something happen shortly. Let's have a look at oil on the daily. Look at that lovely push up today, still strong. As I said earlier, all these topping tails, lots of topping tails, showing signs that it might want to reverse. And what's it do? It gets strong. But look at the volume now, getting increased volume around here. Whether that's increased volume because we're breaking out through this level and there's more momentum in the oil, or it's more volume because we're showing end to this trend, and the smart money or the inside money are now putting a lot of orders in to sell off existing inventory before we see a reversal back down. But keep an eye on the volume. There's no top in town, there's no sign it wants to fail. This is definitely a very bullish candle. Big red, big green wide range bar, and it's broken out over the pivot there. We've got that area there, so potentially watch. It looks like it wants to carry on going up, so it's still in an uptrend. And again, like we said earlier, if it's not going to break the daily uptrend, then you've got to be biased long. I was biased a bit short there and it didn't work. But anyway, that's my trading for today. Hopefully you've had a good day. I finished green overall, but it was a tough day trading. Made hard work for myself. Shouldn't have to rely on one home run trade to make up for 4 bad losing trades. Again, like I said, I should have been taking profits. I need to start, that could have been a stop out potentially. But by the time I got to there, I shouldn't even be thinking going long. I should be looking for shorts, because you got the first wave, second wave, third wave, fourth wave. So it's a bit frustrating, but an area of my trading I'm working on. Okay, thank you for watching. If you like the video, don't forget to hit the like button, and don't forget to subscribe to get notifications of any new videos. And I will be live tomorrow at 9 AM Eastern Time, which is 2 PM here in the UK, where I go through the levels. We look at what's happened in the post and pre-market, and any new levels are in place, and we'll go through them as well. But as you can see, the levels are working really well. Bottom level there, that level there, all in play. Potentially that area there as well from earlier as well. So it's worth paying attention to levels and tune into the live video, because that's where I'll come up with the levels. Any new levels in the meantime, there's a few I can see I might like for tomorrow. But until tomorrow, have a lovely evening. Thanks for watching.